Greetings all, welcome back. This is Tangela with My Monologues. So today we're going to be making some zucchini bread. If you watched my previous video making smorgasbord soup, you will know I was gifted a very large zucchini and I used half of it to put into that recipe for the soup. However, today we're going to use the other half to make the zucchini bread. The recipe is really simple. And I got the original base of my recipe from All Recipes Mom Zucchini Bread. I will try to make sure I link the actual recipe in the description below if you want to follow more along those guidelines. However, I have mentioned before I am gluten-free and also dairy-free. So I made a few little substitutions and then added some few ingredients of my own to go with my taste. So check in the description for the list of ingredients and let's get started. So first off, you're going to need your all-purpose flour, or in my case, gluten-free flour. I have already included the 3 cups of flour. I did sift it already just to take some of the time out of the video. If you don't have like one of the mechanical sifters, you can use a fine mesh strainer, which is what I actually use just because it allows me to use larger portions of flour at one time and sift it easily. Also, you will need to use sift in your baking soda, your salt, and your baking powder. So I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to dump this into here and then also let it sift. So it's really easy to do. As you can see, if you get like little pieces, you can just flatten it out. That's the importance of the sifter. It just gets rid of those lumps and bumps that wouldn't normally go away without a lot of more extra work in hand. And plus it aerates the flour as well. Then I'm going to add also the arrowroot starch. I'm using 2 tablespoons of arrowroot starch. Okay, and then that's all done. And then we're just going to take a spatula and just kind of mix this all together. Okay. So the next things that you're gonna add to this will be the flaxseed. Obviously, because it is milled, it's a good chance it probably won't go through the sifter, and sifting it really isn't necessary. It's more of just an added ingredient. So I will just take the 1/4 cup of milled flaxseed and then just add that into it as well. And then, like I said, just give it another stir. So this is like one of my family favorite breads, especially when the kids were growing up. Now that they're older, I mostly make it for myself to have with a little cup of coffee in the morning while I sit and do my morning meditation. So that's all mixed together just till it's well combined. And then we'll set that to the side, and next we'll work on the wet ingredients. I have 4 eggs that I'm gonna dump in that are at room temperature. So we'll just put that there. And then next up, we will add in 3/4 cups of oil of your choice. I'm using avocado oil. And then we're going to add in quite a mix here. In here I have my sugars. So I have 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of turbinado sugar, and then 1/2 cup of plain white sugar. So just add that in as well. So I will be back with you in a moment, and we will put this in the mixer and let that get to going. Alrighty, so we got the mixer here set up and plugged in, ready to go. And while I was setting up, I just remembered that in my dried ingredients, I forgot to put my spices. So we're gonna add that right now before I get sidetracked and forget that again. So we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of cardamom and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then I will also just add this to get sifted. Now, if you don't like cardamom, if that's like a flavor that's profile that you don't care for, then you can use all cinnamon, or you can switch out to some other spices that you want to give a try and see how you like those. But the recipe, the original recipe calls for all cinnamon, but I do like cardamom. I always put it in a cup of coffee, so I do enjoy the flavor of it. But like I said, feel free to make the changes that work for you. So now that that is sifted in, like I said, now we'll give it another stir to incorporate those ingredients. Okay, and then I can just set this to the side, and then we're going to work on those wet ingredients. Okay, so to the wet ingredients, we have just one more thing to add. Once again, I almost forgot that, is the vanilla. So you're going to need to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla to your wet mix. That's 1 and 2. Okay. And this brand is just the Magnolia Star, purchased at Sam's Club. Whatever vanilla, obviously, that you have in your cupboard will definitely work. Okay, so now all of the wet ingredients are here and ready to go. So just put it onto your stand mixer, or you can use your hand mixer and mix it up until everything's well incorporated and mixed together. I always start on just low stir to get it moving, and then I'll go up to probably like 2 on my machine. So while that is mixing, we'll add in some of those dry ingredients. That's now all blended. All right, so we can just lift that up, and as you can see, it kind of has a thick texture, as you can see here. However, once you add in the zucchini, it will thin it out some. I'm just going to remove the blade, this spatula here, and then I'll just spoon off this last little bit. Like I said, waste not, want not. I usually leave some just so I can nibble on while I'm waiting for it to bake. So get all of that off. I'm gonna set that there. Okay. So I'm going to take this off, and then we'll move to the next step, but I'm going to get this mixer out the way so we can get some work done. It's all mixed together, well combined, but we have to chop up the walnuts. If you don't want to use walnuts, if you have pecans or some other nut of your preference, feel free to swap that out, but you'll need 1 cup of nuts. This is my great little chopper I like to use that I received from my kids some years ago. Like I said, I got it on Amazon. I still haven't yet been able to find it to link it, but I will try to do so for this video. So you'll just pour some of your nuts in here. Like I said, everything, I just do about half, just so I don't overwhelm the chopper, because like I said, it is a small volume. And you just want a coarse chop. You don't need it to be like super fine, unless that's what you prefer. Okay, so as you can see, it's nice and crushed. It's not super duper fine. It's definitely not at a milled state yet, but it is nicely crushed. So just think of it this way: if you're putting it in your bread, do you really want like big chunks of walnuts in each bite? You would kind of want it smaller pieces. So just keep that in mind because you will be eating it in a bread form. So I have here inside is my zucchini. Like I said, you'll need 2 cups of that, or approximately. If it's a little less than that, that's okay. If it's a little more than that, that's okay. If it's more than that, it's just going to make your cake a lot more, I guess, moist than without, if you did just right at 2 cups. So if you want a little extra moisture, if you have 2.5 cups, then feel free to add the last little tidbits of the 2.5 cups. And I'm just going to try to make sure I get everything out. But I do like the shredder now. I've had this for probably 15 years, so unfortunately I can't tell you where I purchased it. But it is great because it does have the little bottom, so you can carry it and move it about, and you don't have to have a separate bowl. It holds it all together for you. So I do like that feature. Okay, so now with the zucchini added in, it looks like so. So now you're just going to use some arm muscle and just kind of mix it all together. You could still try to use it in your stand mixer, but it does kind of slow it down, and I don't want to burn it out because I really do enjoy my stand mixer and I'm not interested in buying a new one. So I will use my muscles to just incorporate it and stir it together. But like I said, once you start stirring it, because of the moisture that's in the zucchini, it loosens up and it becomes easier to stir and easier batter to mix. So I did shorten the video, and I didn't do a lot of the steps and show a lot of anything like actually grating this. If in the comments you want to see like the full video and actually get ready with me with all the prep steps and all of that, feel free to like let me know that, and then I can make those videos. But I try not to make the videos too long, so when people that are on crunch time, you know, they're not having to watch an entire 1.5-hour video. However, if I do have viewers that are interested in it, maybe I can alternate videos being like quick and simple versus those that are more drawn out, and you want to do more of a one-on-one tutorial of how to make something. I don't think it's super sweet, but after you make this, if you find it to not be sweet enough or too sweet, then you can alter it the next time you make it. But I think you will enjoy it. Okay, so sit here, and then I'm gonna grab the pans. I already prepped them. So I have 2 loaf pans. This will make 2 loaves, 8x4 size loaf pans. My pans, unfortunately, over the years, somehow I don't manage to have a matching set. They're a little bit off in size, and they don't have the exact measurements written on them. So I'm going to use just a cup measurer and spoon it in to kind of try to make sure they're equal amounts of it, so one's not overflowing and one's like really low and thin. And I like to use the parchment paper. It makes it easier to get the bread out when it's done without me having to use a whole ton of cooking spray and things of that nature. If you prefer to use cooking spray or butter or flour to line your pan, feel free to do that. But like I said, I like the parchment paper for the easier cleanup. And get all the batter down off the sides. Okay, so It looks like it might be like 1 cup left in here, so I'm just going to take half and put it in this one, and then the other half I'll put in the other. All of the batter is in both of the pans. And get that little bit off. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven at 325 for 40 to 60 minutes. And obviously in about 40 minutes, you know, check on it, stick a toothpick through or knife, and if it comes out clean, then obviously you know it's ready. But it's gauged to be about 40 to 60 minutes. When I've baked it in my oven, I've noticed it was always closer towards the 60 minutes. And then once it's done, we'll take it out of the oven and then allow it to sit inside the pans on a cooling rack for about 20 minutes or so. And then you'll pop it out of the pan and then let it sit and go completely to room temperature if you can resist it, and before cutting it and taking a bite. So I will show you the finished product. All right, welcome back. So it has been 20 minutes, and now we're just going to lift the zucchini bread, which looks really delicious, up out of the pans. They're still warm. Feels good to me. My kids would probably say it's hot, but it feels amazing to my hands. So we're just going to lift these out and let them cool on the cooling rack, which I have here. I'll tilt that down so you can see. So they're sitting on a cooling rack. Like I said, 20 minutes have passed, and the great thing here, let me tilt this down a little bit. Like I said, I like to use the parchment paper because it allows me to just lift up and out, so it doesn't stick. So I'll stick this here, and we'll just lift up and out and let it sit here and cool. Now pull back the edges, and then you're just going to allow it to cool the rest of the way. Tilt this down maybe a little bit. Maybe I have to wait till I get finished. And I'll do the same with the other one. Okay. So now you'll be able to see what they look like. I'll move this out the way so you can see. So this is like from the side view. They aren't that tall. I was thinking maybe the next time I make it, just because I want it to be more of a like thicker loaf, I'll probably will just put more into one pan, and then the other one maybe I can just put maybe into some muffin tins. Maybe I'll try that the next time. But like I said, I've made this for years, and the size of it and the texture of it comes out really good. Like I said, I'll just let you see how this looks from the top there. And it's nice, crisp, and brown. So when you get some time, please feel free to make this, and I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to cut into it. I am going to try to be good and at least let this sit for maybe another 10-20 minutes and cool some more before I cut into it. But I do like it when it's warm, so I will probably have a slice fairly quickly. But otherwise, let it cool completely before you make your first slice. That way the texture on the inside will be more stable, and it won't fall apart on you when you make your slices. But I hope you enjoy this recipe. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you give it a try and if you like it. Like I said, I will post the original recipe from All Recipes in the description box, but also give mine a try too and see which one you like. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you.